think I just knew once I'd started teaching that that was my vocation, but I really wanted to set up my own classes. And one of the things I said on one of our many calls was, I really would love my students in my dance schools and my leavers that are 17, 18 years old. I really need them to read this book. Because for them, it shows them, I think, the diversity of what is on the other side. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it this way and I'm happy, and I'm going to make everybody around me happy too.
Welcome to the Spotlight series, season 2 of the Showbiz Side Hustle podcast, where each week we meet one of the brilliant co-authors and creatives behind Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur book that's redefining what success looks like both in and out of the showbiz spotlight. I'm your host here, Nicole Louise Geddes, and in these special episodes we learn even more about the stories behind the sequence. Raw, honest, powerful reminders that the end of one act is only the beginning of another. So listen in as we chat challenges and triumphs and inspire you to shine in any spotlight you like. Hello listeners, I'm so excited to welcome you back to the Spotlight series, where today we talk to Victoria Bremner about her new redefined version of success. Victoria is a business strategist and coach for dance school owners, helping them turn their passion into sustainable, profitable dance businesses without the burnout. And with nearly 2 decades of hands-on experience running her own award-winning dance school, she is absolutely the go-to person in this field. In her chapter, titled The Evolution of Growth, Victoria reflects on the quiet inner shifts that changed everything, from juggling business and motherhood to redefining what success really means. Her story is one of realignment, resilience, and choosing purpose over pressure. If you've ever questioned the path you're on or longed for a more meaningful version of success, this conversation is for you. Let's dive into Victoria's powerful journey of clarity, growth, and grounded transformation, and welcome the dance boss coach, Victoria, to the spotlight.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. It's brilliant to have you here. And you're not new to the podcast and you're not new to the book writing world. So let's start there, Victoria, and jump straight in and tell the listeners that, in fact, this is not your first time writing a book. You do already have a best-selling book. And I'd love you to share that with the listeners who can then buy that book in addition to the Spotlight on Success and get your whole full journey and story. What was the first book about, and how do you think that will help the listeners?
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, I'm a business coach and strategist for dance school owners, and have been in the business of dance school ownership for nearly 20 years now. So over that period of time, so many things in my life have changed, including becoming a parent. So I have a 10-year-old and a six-year-old son. And one of the things I guess I felt a little bit lost on when I was trying to figure out how to even think about making dance school life alongside family life work was, where do I maybe get some support or information? And I sort of realized the more digging I did, I just couldn't really find anything that was, particularly, relevant enough to the industry that I work in. So I took it upon myself to write my own book, because I had to learn as I went along, make loads of mistakes along the way, learn so much about myself, both not just as a business owner, but as a parent. And I just really wanted to be able to share that insight with other, dance school owners who were thinking about embarking on, this new chapter in their lives. So it's all about trying to, we say balance, whether you can actually find true balance. I think things constantly change, don't they? But it's about trying to manage that juggle of parenthood alongside running a dance school, and how we can do that and shape our lives and our careers to be what we truly want it to be, not something that we feel that it has to be, or that has to fit into how things should look, but actually making something that really works for you, that is really fulfilling, both as a business owner, dance school owner, and a parent as well. So it's got loads of juicy tips in there, Um, we work through all sorts of things like values, your why, building a team, delegating, which can feel terrifying especially if you're running solo and you need to delegate in order to, make things work. Pricing, marketing, you name it, it's in there. I read it again the other week, actually. I was taking a bit of a break from it because, as you know, writing a book is a a lot of work, and sort of going back to it again just with fresh eyes, it was just so nice to read and just sort of reassure myself. So it's a really, really helpful resource for dance school owners. So that was sort of how the book came about. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I loved it as well. A lot of work, but yeah, absolutely worth
It's
it.
a brilliant book. And like you say, it's a toolkit, it's a resource, and it's something that dance school owners can pick up and get tips and tricks at every kind of stage and decision of their dance school growth. So some might wonder why then you went on to join me on my mission of the book collaboration for Performerpreneur. And if you've read the book, listeners, you'll now hear the nuances and the differences. That toolkit book is sounding very similar to my the Showbiz Side Hustle Handbook. It's a pick it up, get some information, do the tasks, take the tips, and move forward. Whereas the Spotlight on Success book collaboration has brought people's backstories to the forefront. And so I think these two books just sound like they marry up so beautifully. Tell the listeners why you felt that joining the book collaboration was a good step for you, even though you had already written that first book.
I just think that there's always so much that we have to share. And I think what was so is so special about the book is it's a collaboration. So there's so many different stories. We've all come from very different backgrounds, but we've all turned a passion into that purpose and that drive that you have sort of deep within your heart. And I think that for me, as time has gone on, you sort of discover more about yourself. And with that, this confidence grows. And I guess what your perception of success is, it's different for everybody, but it's being able to have the confidence to stand in that. And that's not just me saying it. I absolutely believe and feel, what my version of success is really, really, gives me that sort of fulfilled purpose with what I'm doing, both in my career, and also as a mother, and as a friend and family, and I think that it's for anybody who would be reading it, it's a really reassuring read as well. I think if you're feeling doubtful about what you should be doing, I think it gives you permission almost to do what you feel you want to do and what works for you. Um, yeah, so I think that is something really, really special about being a part of the book collaboration. We've all got such different stories, but that's what makes it just so incredible.
It is. It's an incredible read. And listeners, if you haven't yet bought the book, please do go find Spotlight on Success on Amazon, paperback and Kindle. But obviously, if you have bought the book, you will have read Victoria's chapter already. Victoria is in the third section of the book, Building Success. And that's with a little nod to this big dance empire that you have created. In the book, it tells about you having to move and to juggle and to realign. And you've done that so beautifully, so poised, like a ballet dancer would, I guess. And it's really nice to go beyond that kind of surface level appearance and see that there were times of struggle and times of doubt, and you have dug deep and you have pushed through. Is it fair to say that these questions, these moments of self-doubt, of wonder what the next bit looked like, happened around that kind of motherhood era for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I definitely experienced it in my early 20s for sure. But during parenthood, everything changes. And I think you can prepare and have an idea of how things might go, but I think until you're in it, you don't actually realize how it will impact you. And for me, I stretched myself too thin, and I did have to learn the hard way. But equally, I think it made me realize like what it what I wanted to get from life, and what needed to change, what needed to evolve, which can feel really scary as well. Like change can make us feel uncomfortable, but sometimes the most exciting things come when you know that you feel uncomfortable, something amazing is going to be on the other side of that, and you have to push through. So yeah, definitely coming from, challenges and struggles, but then coming out the other side. And I'm sure there will be more again in the future. So I think it also sort of teaches you not to be quite as, I guess, frightened of when things are difficult. Because that's life, isn't it? But we learn from that as well. And I think also, um, for me, I didn't realize how strong I was actually until being confronted with some of the challenges that we've experienced. And I think knowing that you're a lot stronger, or feeling that you're a lot stronger than you thought you were, is very empowering. And then I think it just helps build that layer of confidence. And also, when things aren't going well, or you are finding things difficult, knowing what your support network is, knowing who your support network is, and feeling safe and comfortable to be able to reach out, for support as well. And that's why I do what I do. I want to create that network. And you're part of my network, Nicole. Having that support for each other and saying, do you know what, it's okay. I've experienced XYZ. Yeah, this is really rubbish. Maybe this is what we could look at. This is what we could do to try and get you back on the other side of that.
It's funny, isn't it, that you mentioned network and support, because as a performer, as a dancer, growing up, we had coaches, we had teachers. We didn't go off into the world of performing arts without these professionals that were able to support us. Yet we get to a certain point in our careers and we feel that we have to be an island, we have to do it on our own, we have to compete, we have to, say no to collaboration. And then also, what baffles me is in the actual industry, you have a crew supporting you, you have an ensemble. So I don't know at what point and why so many of us feel that we have to do this alone, because there's so many points of a performer's life, foundations, career, training that have been supported by cast, crew, teachers, coaches. So I think it's really important, listeners, for you to hear what Victoria and I are saying, and many of the people in the book, that we've all got networks, we've all got support, coaches have coaches. Have you found your person, listener, that is going to help become that accountability that's going to help you get to where you want to be? And Victoria does that beautifully for dance school owners. I do that for the industry that want to pivot, that want to create businesses. And there'll be plenty of other people that have that niche that you might need. So please do go seek them out. With that in mind, I know who my ideal client is for my business, and you know exactly who yours is for your specific niched business. Who do you think this book is suited to? Because I feel it's quite diverse. So, who would you like the book to get in the hands of?
Oh my gosh, it's so diverse. That's what I find so exciting about the book. So, um, I'm a dance school owner, as you know. So I know we spoke about this, I think, when we were sort of all discussing our chapters and how they were going to, how we were going to shape them. And one of the things I said on one of our many calls was, oh, I really would love my students in my dance schools and my leavers that are 17, 18 years old. I really need them to read this book. Because for them, it shows them, I think, the diversity of what is on the other side, and that it's not just about performing, or there is life after a performing career. So I think for them, I think I would love them to read it. I think also, even whether you're in, within the performing arts or not, I think anybody who is at a crossroads in their, especially in terms of their career, um, I think it's just such an insightful read, and again, just something that just gives them some reassurance. I think just the diversity of the stories and the experiences is just something really lovely to read. And I think it will really spark maybe other thought processes off, or ideas, or if you've got an inkling of something that you think you might like to do, but you feel that, oh my gosh, no, that's not going to work. I think reading the book, you'll soon realize that actually, if you want to do it, go for it and do it.
100%. And we have picked 14 people that absolutely have got that ethos like driven into them, because we all took the leap. And it's interesting because the book has got people spanning all age ranges, and even regardless of when they write the chapter, at what age they are at this moment in time, there's been some changes even earlier than that. And you have that in your chapter as well. You were heading off in a direction that you thought the industry, um, called of you, but you had a longing and a purpose and a passion inside that you knew it was meant to be something different. And for those not that haven't read the book yet, then do tell us about that. If you've read it, then this is probably just a little bit deeper, because let's be honest, 2,500 words to tell a whole life's worth of twists and turns is not a lot. So tell us about those changes at the beginning of your career in the arts as well.
Yeah, so I danced professionally overseas, and when I returned to the UK, I guess I dipped my toes into freelance dance teaching, but soon realised that actually I was really good at it, and I loved it, and I really love working with young people, and I really love just being able to make that sort of positive impact on their lives, and I talk about this so much, but when you're teaching a young dancer, some of them, they'll start with you when they're 4 years old and they're with you until they're 18, like, weekly, several days a week, they're such formative years. And to be a part of that is just something I really, really cherish, and such a responsibility that I do not take lightly for a moment. So I think I just knew once I'd started teaching that that was my vocation. But I really wanted to set up my own classes. I guess there's that independence side of things, and just I think I've always liked doing my own thing. But I think with that came there, or should I be performing? Should I be getting a proper job? Especially when I guess you're in a circle where you sort of see your friends all sort of pursuing careers, and very different career paths now. I look back, it seems, when you're in that place and you're comparing, I shouldn't have been comparing, because it's just also, it was also individual. And then, fast forward to parenthood, things change again, and, you adapt, you evolve, and you have to figure it out. But then somewhere along the line, you realize that you've actually smashed it and you've done it. But it's only when you look back and you realize when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see. So I think it's, just that's where the confidence comes from as well, knowing that, there are going to be difficult times along the way, or, now whenever I have a challenge, and I say this to my children, we will figure this out. There is a solution. We might not know what the solution is yet, but we will figure it out, and I think that's just a really, nice outlook to have on life as well, because then things don't feel quite so scary as well.
100%. And like you say, we have took the time to write our chapters, and had a moment of reflection to find those answers, to find that moment of like high-fiving ourselves, like, oh my goodness, we did it. And your chapter title, The Evolution of Growth, really represents that journey you've been on, and that moment of clarity you now have that goes, hell yeah, that's been a whirlwind. It could have gone 100 different ways, but I trusted the process, I trusted my gut, and here I am living the dream. So I love the chapter title. Was the title before the chapter, or the chapter before the title?
And the title was after the chapter. But weirdly, I guess when I started writing the chapter, because the chapter's called The Evolution of Growth, the chapter sort of evolved as I was writing it. And I felt really emotional writing it as well, which I didn't feel the same way when I wrote my book. But writing this chapter for the collaboration, it was something where I guess I realized just how much had changed. And I also realized how doubtful I was of myself. Um, that self-sabotage, putting yourself down. I think that dancer's perfectionism, it can be quite dangerous. And I think sort of realizing how much that had impacted me in the past, and now knowing where I am now in terms of my outlook on life and my view on life, it I have this sort of, I guess, a definition of success that I truly believe in. And, it's not all, financial and business. It's about being able to spend time with my children. It's about being able to be present. It's about saying, I love my job. And I'm able to, make an impact on all of these wonderful young people. And being able to stand in that and absolutely 110% believe that and feel that. And I think my message would be to, anybody who reads the chapter or who has read the chapter, success is what you define it to be. It's not validated by anything external. It's what you feel and you believe. And I think if you can find that, it gives you some peace in terms of how you want to operate. And also just like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it this way and I'm happy and I'm going to make everybody around me happy too by doing that. So yeah, that was how it came about.
It's so true. My chapter ends with, and I can't think specifically the quote, I should know this. It ends with success is a feeling. So, and I think we're all in line with that. It's a feeling. And I guess when you're saying you want to hand this to those leavers of your dance school at 16 or 18, whenever they head off into the world, they're going to get that understanding of that feeling much sooner than we did. I mean, I'm 40 odd years old and it's just come, you've just spoken about self-sabotage and, getting in your own way. And that would have happened in those 20s, maybe 30s. And now it's like we're actually stood there going, no, we're owning this. And I wish we'd have felt it sooner.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think that it, again, I guess especially when I'm sort of talking about my younger students, I want them to know that there will be challenges along the way, but you will come out the other side. And I think it's how you approach them, and it's okay. Don't worry. Like, we'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You will get there. That grit, that determination, that resilience that we have as performers. That is going to stand you in good stead. So I think I keep using the word reassuring, but I think that is what I maybe needed when I was younger. I needed some reassurance, but I guess I didn't really have those examples around me. So I think the book is very honest, and I think that's what we need. I think that yeah, we just need it's the honesty that's there that's just important and reassuring, for the reader, definitely.
Honesty is a really big part of my business ethos. And changing that negative narrative. And I know people aren't going to hold their hands up too often and be like, this is, how dare people make us feel like this? But the bottom line is the industry has created an echo chamber of what it looks like to be successful. And this is not me taking away from any of those huge spotlights that many of the performers in the book have been in. Like, that is part of it. But you might pivot early, you might pivot late, you might reach the pinnacle of your career, you might be injured and not. And I think the point is, like we keep reiterating, is this book has got so many versions of success in and out of the traditional showbiz spotlight that you cannot get to the end of that book and not feel empowered enough to just do you.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And that's the point. Listeners, just do you. And it's so easy for you and I to sit here later on in life and just do you. You'll read in my book, my chapter of the book, I didn't speak out when I really felt I needed to. This is my voice coming out louder and prouder than it ever dared to back in the beginning of my journey in the performing arts industry. So it is a learning curve, it is a process. But by putting our souls and hearts on the page, we're hoping that collectively we can create some ripples of change, that people will step into their authentic self much sooner than maybe some of us did, and pursue that spotlight, be it showbiz or business, whatever that looks like for you individually. Victoria, you and I have been working closely together for many years now. I love watching you and your business grow. Let's just go back to where you are at now and share, because it's even evolved since the book has been written. You've gone from strength to strength in this dance school coaching arena. Please do share how the listeners can find you, what you're up to at the moment, what your specific kind of projection for the business is, so they know where and how they can work with you.
Amazing. So Yeah, so it's really taken off, especially in the last 6 months or so, especially. So there's a couple of ways you can work with me, but first of all, I would just urge anybody, any dance school owners who are thinking, oh, I might like to get in touch, just get in touch. I love having conversations with you. If you are at a bit of a crossroads at the moment, or you just need a bit of help troubleshooting, unpicking where you're at, then I'm always happy to chat and just send you off, with some thoughts. But if you want to work more closely, I work one-to-one with dance school owners. I've also got a 90-day group program for dance school owners where we dig into all things visibility, marketing, growth, retention, systems, team, accountability. You get so much accountability, you'll be fed up with me. um, and we also, I'm just running my first in-person strategy day coming up in Brighton. So also, if that is of interest to you, then you can find me over on Instagram, which is where I hang out mostly at Dance Boss Coach, or also via my website, which is victoriabremnerdance.com. But do get in touch, and it's just always nice to connect with dance school owners and help each other out. No, you're not alone. And yeah, in my dance school, I'm coming up for my 20th anniversary next year in the dance school. So I've definitely got lots to share, lots of highs, lots of challenges. So I'm sure, I know I can help you yeah, figure things out.
I absolutely know you can help. And please do, as I say, reach out because there's always somebody that is going to be there to support you. 20 years, that's incredible. So well done you. I hope there's a big celebration and party planned for that too. And I bet you've seen many of those children grow right up through the all the different age brackets, exams, genres, the whole thing, shows. So I bet it's quite emotional for you to get to this point.
Oh my gosh. So we're in July now, aren't we? So it's the end of the academic year, and we have a large cohort of senior students. So a lot of them are flying the nest at the dance school this year, who've been with me since they were 4 years old. They have a piece of my heart, and we sort of I know they'll go on to do amazing things, but I'm so excited for them, but also so sad for me because I just miss them so much.
They'll come back. We all remember our dance teachers. We all remember that feeling of family. I hope you're gifting them the book as far as signed copies as they walk out the door.
Absolutely.
100%, please do. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening and you can align or resonate with any of this stuff, then listen to all of the podcast episodes for series 2, the Spotlight series, because we just go out a little bit deeper than the chapter and the word count allowed. And so it's really nice. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll actually meet us face to face as well. And you can see Victoria in the flesh there on YouTube and see how absolutely, poised and beautiful she is and the perfect person to holistically and elegantly help you through those struggles of running a dance school business. Because I mean, I can imagine, I haven't got a dance school business myself, but I know many of you that have, and I know that it's sometimes very difficult with all of the different people and the ages and the parents and the staff, and it's you're a very good manager of people, and I applaud that. How would you like to end this podcast? What is it that you want the world to know about you and your chapter, about the message that we're collectively trying to shout about, that be an individual, following your own success markers and stepping into that authentic self, and where passion meets purpose. And I think that's a beautiful tagline for the book, because we are all passionate about the arts, that we're all passionate about dance, musical, all of those different bits of that puzzle. That is our passion. But when you can marry that with your purpose, and yours was teaching the next generation, supporting the next generation, and now again supporting the next generation of business owners in dance school. So it's very much the synergy there. It's important for us to keep shouting loudly about that. What would you like to end with, Victoria?
I think if you have a passion and something in your heart that you can't shake off, I think you owe it to yourself to at least try, so that as they say, it's better to regret the things you tried than the things you didn't. And so I would say that you need to do it. You need to reach out, get the support, get the information. We're out here. you owe it to yourself to try that thing. If it's in there, then you need to listen to it. And that success is whatever it is to you. It's not what it is to anybody else. It's what it is to you, and you need to run with it, and believe in it, and go for it. Yeah.
Go for it. Believe in it. Believe in yourself. And we absolutely believe in you, listeners. So reach out, go do your thing, listen to the podcast, and we can't wait to see who this book reaches and how it kind of helps transition them into their next spotlight. Victoria, it's always a pleasure. You and I could speak for ages. There is another episode of the podcast with Victoria and I chatting in series 1. So if you've enjoyed this conversation, please do go find it again. And there is going to be a second book in the future, third book for me, the second Spotlight on Success book. We're opening up applications. So if you think you have a story that you want to tell, that you know will shape the next generation, you know will help people become their authentic selves, then please do reach out. And on that note, Victoria, would you tell people to go for it?
Oh, absolutely. Totally. Do it.
Without a doubt. You'll be supported. One of our big words of the podcast. You'll be celebrated. And the feeling when we finally got that book into the world was just such elation and collaboration, and it was a great moment, and it's still rippling now, and the group is still very much together, still doing incredible things and moving forward on the journey. I tell you what would be funny, Victoria, if anyone came in on the second book, because so much has changed for people since we finished writing to this point. And then if we think 6 months ahead is when the next book process starts, I am pretty sure within that year, incredible things have happened for all of these incredible authors. We'll wait and see. Thank you again for joining me, and I will see you online personally very soon.
Thank you, Nicole. Take care.
Thank you, my darling. Bye-bye. There you have it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Spotlight series, where stories shine and success gets redefined. If you loved what you heard, hit like, follow, or subscribe. And be sure to grab your copy of Spotlight on Success over on Amazon. And don't forget to tag us at PerformerPreneur across all socials. If you've been inspired today to step into a new spotlight, you can find a whole community ready to support you at performerpreneur.co.uk, as well as up-and-coming events and even more about each author. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and continue to shine.